This is Becoming a Professional Bass Player. My name's Deborah and this is the video journal of my career transition. I've been doing Atomic Habits by James Clear, and so here I am in my atomic habit of getting to my office at 8:15 on a Tuesday and a Friday and doing my YouTubes then. And so far actually it is working for me. It's giving me a kick up the butt to do something that I find quite hard. I do find this quite challenging. Not the sharing. I'm a psychotherapist, we love to share. But the sort of talking about myself to camera and worrying about whether any of the content's interesting or how it all is. I'm a little bit, I can feel the resistance in my body, and the Atomic Habit is really helping. So I thought I would just do a potted history of where we are today, because somebody in my last video, I think a new person who started subscribing, said, "What is Glitterball?" And I realised I might be presuming knowledge that you don't have. I sort of thought I'm talking to just to people who are in my personal life, but now there are some other people listening. So I'll give you a little history so that you don't have to go back and watch all of the videos. In autumn of 2023, this lovely guy, my very dear friend Math, got some very bad news from the doctor. And whilst we were processing that, as part of processing that, it made me think, what will happen when I get some news like that? Because it comes to us all. What will I have hoped I've done with my life? Or what would I have regretted? And I really wanted to play in a disco band with a horn section. I thought that would really be the icing on the cake of life for me. So I started a disco band in the spring of 2024. And at that point, Phil Mulford also started Talking Low, the bass players group. And I turned up for the very first meeting, by some way the most junior member of the group, it's skills-wise, and met such a lovely, inspiring group of people. I just cannot tell you what a gift they have been to me. And I loved this, and I thought, I'm going to come every month. This is so important. I made way in my diary for that meeting. So every third Tuesday, I cleared my diary and I went. And over the time, you know, they say that you pick up the influences of the people that you're with. Over time, the desire to play the bass just became stronger and stronger until that was it. I wanted to do it more on a more full-time basis. Skip to the summer of 2024, Caroline and I went to ABBA Voyage, and it was the second time everybody in the party had been. And what struck me was that people were coming back and back to this same experience, and ABBA weren't even there, but it didn't matter, because the holograms and the lights and the visuals and the opportunity for people to get really dressed up in their sequins and be immersed in ABBA was what they wanted. They didn't really need ABBA to be there. They were the audience of the party at ABBA and the live band. And I was just struck, A, by the artistic possibilities of this, and B, by the commercial possibilities of this. I thought, wow, Southend could do with something like this, because people are coming again and again. They're coming for, I'd taken my parents for their birthdays. I could see people were going for like Mother's Day, hen do, birthday, all sorts of celebrations. And I just thought, wow, you know, they haven't even changed the set yet, you know, and it's been the same set for years. So that just struck me. And on the train on the way home, Caroline and I talked about how we could turn that, you know, some kind of theatrical musical experience and do that in Southend. And it was just an idea. Put it to the back of my head, thought, well, I didn't think that'll never happen, but I just thought, that's ambitious. And all the meantime, I'm playing in my disco band. And one of the people that joined the band was Georgina, and she's a professional actor muso. And that made me think, oh gosh, I really have got to get this band paid, because this is people's income now. It's not just hobbyists in this band, it's professional musicians. And then I thought, there's a lot of disco bands out there. We've got to be different. And then Caroline's idea started to come back to me about how to be a disco band plus. And the next important bit is that Georgina, the saxophone player, put me on to Eckhart Tolle and the power of now, and really immersing myself in that. I found it so helpful and so useful. At that point, math still wasn't getting any better. And it made me realise we're here for a good time, not a long time. And, you know, some of those sentiments like, what would you do if you couldn't fail? And Eckhart Tolle said, well, it's only the now that exists. And if you really exist in the now, it's very powerful what you can do. If you, because all your worries are really thinking about the future or thinking about the past. You know, the future, I don't know what's going to happen. Will it all work out? And the past worries are things like, am I good enough or having enough self-esteem? If you're truly in the present, none of that really matters. And again, this was another point where a head of steam starts to build, like some sort of momentum. All the way through, my lovely friend Michael Mondesir from Talking Low has been encouraging me and telling me to YouTube. On the very first day he met me, he talked to me about marketing and recording things and capturing stuff, and I started to do that. I just thought, okay, if I'm living in the now, I'm just going to do it rather than think about it. And then, because everything, by this point, there'd been quite a swell of momentum. I was now leading the band, making the musical choices. The Point of Difference had become a show. It had become an immersive experience like ABBA. And therefore, there was a need for a company. You know, I'd started another band, Truly Red. So Glitterball Productions was founded, I think it was about June 2025, with the idea that we would be a cut above. So not just doing it to make the most profit for the owners of the company, but having a company that's about having the musicians properly paid, and a first-class product has to come first. So that is the priority. It's got to be a visual feast, whether it's Truly Red or Divine Funk or Blue Skies, our function band. It's got to be a visual feast. Fantastic musicianship. The musicians I want the musicians to be having a great time, which means paying attention to their conditions on stage, whether they need in-ears, whether there's feedback on the stage, because I really feel that if the musicians are enjoying themselves and it's a good gig and they're well paid and they're well looked after, I'll get to work with the best musicians and they will create the best product, and then the audience will be having the best time. So we've come full circle there, and I've taken 8 minutes of your time to tell you where you're at. All started with this guy who sadly passed away at the end of 2025, and I was doing a memorial karaoke for him on Saturday because it was his birthday, and it was lovely to get together. And he's always with us, always with our friends, inspiring us and encouraging us. So that's the story. For those of you who didn't know, that's a little catch up for you. And I'll be back on Friday because that's my atomic habit. And I'll be I'm already getting myself ready for the Truly Red promo that's coming up on Sunday. Really excited about that. Lots to tell you on Friday. Okay, you take care and have a good week. Bye-bye.